Morning. Now, I know we've got a lot of trouble going on in the press and in the papers and on the telly and on the radio, and we're going through trauma, aren't we? I'm going to give you homework because I'm done with all that. I've moved on from that. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not living in those times. I'm not. We are living in the end days. We know it's something you need to learn about and study about in your own time, because quite honestly, I'm done with it. I'm not doing that. Hatred, I'm done with it. If they want to hate each other, let them get on with it. I've moved on. I'm moving on to love. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm going to give it a wide berth, and I'm going to divert. But what you need to do for homework is Google Olivet Discourse, read Matthew 24, and pay attention when it says rumours of wars and rumours of wars. That's the key thing today, because that we are living in biblical times, unprecedented biblical times. The rainbows behind me say it all. They're from the book of Revelation. We are living in the time of Revelation. We are living in dark times, and I'm done with it. I'm not dealing with that. I want to see light at the end of the tunnel. I don't want to be dealing. You do your homework, but hatred, pride, that's dumb. I'm done with it. I'm not going to look at that. I'm going to resurrect somebody today, and I want you to tell me who you think this is. Look at that face. Who is this? Look at the bottom lip being bitten. A guilty look. A confused look. A lost look. Whose face is that? Think about it. I know I'm not young and pretty and blonde. I'm not blonde. But who's this? Can you guess? What does that face say? What have I done? What have I done, Mummy? Madeleine McCann. Confused and lost and guilty. That child was neglected. She was abused. Mummy's top priority was the dinner party. So she put the children away in a dark room on the ground floor with the window wide open. She was a rich doctor on a good salary, but she couldn't afford a babysitter. Oh no, not for me. Oh no, I'm not dealing with that. When you go to France and Italy, even the mafia, and the Spain and Portugal, they love their children. I've lived in Spain, and they make designer clothes for the children. Patent leather shoes, frilly socks, little checkered gingham, and lovely. They spend a lot of money on looking after their children so that they can promenade them along the playa, along the beach. And along the beach, they put little carousels and little funfair. They bring out sweets at night, and when it's sunset, when it starts to get dark, the children are still out at night with Mummy and Daddy. If Mummy and Daddy want a glass of wine, the children probably have an ice cream, and they have fun together. They do stuff. I think the mafia love family too, don't they? They're very family orientated. So really, why didn't she just have an abortion if she didn't want children? Nasty. I was in Hackney the other day, and Barnardo's were raising money. I thought, this is interesting, this is good. I like Barnardo's. I knew somebody who spent time in Barnardo's children's home. I don't think they do children's homes anymore. I don't know if they work with foster families. I'm not quite sure what they do. But we got talking about children, because I do love children, I do. And I was very disappointed. The young people who were raising money for the children who'd been abused, orphaned or adopted or whatever, They were endorsing abortion. I'm thinking, that's a bit weird. That's strange. You work for Barnardo's? You love children and you're endorsing abortion? That's cuckoo. That is really a bit screwy, I thought. Never mind, I thought, right, well, anyway, deal with that. I think I got in touch with Bananas, and in the end they kept bombarding me because they wanted money from me. I said, get lost. I'm not giving money to a charity that endorses abortion. If you want sex more than you want children, there's something very wrong. You know, I mean, the abortion rate has gone through the roof in this country because sex is more important to people than children. And that's disturbing, isn't it, really? To get your end away is more important than what the consequences of it are. It's a bit of a nasty world, isn't it, really? Anyway, that's just very disappointing. And yes, so I do like children. Anyway, I'll turn now. I'm going to read from a Gideon's Bible now. Good News for Everyone Bible that I picked up in a large print when I couldn't find my glasses. Oh, I could read it without glasses, but no, we don't need to do Madeline again, do we? No, we don't need to do that. I think the message has gone home. Okay, so we're turning to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 12 through to the end, which is 20. I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but I will not be mastered by anything. You say food for the stomach and the stomach for food, and God will destroy them both. The body, however, is not meant for sexual immorality, but for the Lord, and the Lord for the body. By his power, God raised the Lord from the dead, and he will raise us also. Do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ itself? Shall I then take the members of Christ and unite them with a prostitute? Never. Do you not know that he who unites himself with a prostitute is one who unites himself with a prostitute is one with her body? For it is said, the two will become one flesh, but whoever is united with the Lord is one with him in spirit. Flee from sexual immorality. All other sins a person commits are outside of the body, but whoever sins sexually sins against their own body. Do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit, who is in you, whom you have received from God? But you are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. Now, I was simultaneously thinking while I was reading that, and I was thinking, Mrs. McCann was so proud that she had to impress others by herself at the dinner party and flaunt her clever status as a doctor, that it was a little bit too more the priority than Madeline and the other children in that room on their own. And that was going through my head while I was reading that. But at the same time, we've got to remember fornication is a sin. So sex before marriage is a sin. You go to hell for it. That's what sin means. That's what sin was all about. If you do that, the consequences are you go to hell. So if your own lusts are more important than the person you're with, you are basically masturbating because you're gratifying yourself on somebody else's body and you're not really thinking about them. You're thinking about your wants and your lusts. And that's not very nice. It's very selfish. It's not a very nice way to behave, is it? So it's a big undoing. It's a huge problem today. It's the biggest problem because a lot of people are protesting because they don't want God. A lot of people, you see, the Jews love God and they love family and they're very moral. But everybody else who's against them is actually against God. That's the spiritual battle. So they don't like God because they want to get their end away at all costs, because lust is so important. Love isn't to them. They don't really know love. They only know hate and lust and jealousy. And it's a shame, because there's no mercy, forgiveness, no love, no generosity, no kindness, no love of Jesus, no love of Christ. And that's the falling down of society today. That's the root cause of all the battles of hatred that are going on, because they're battling against God, because all they want is to satisfy their own lusts, their own appetites, their own greeds. Come dine with me, see how good I am. Yes, never mind the children that are the result of. That's why there's so many abortions. That's why there's so many illegitimate children. That's why family life is. And I'm not Mary Whitehouse, because my name's Amanda Lewis. And Amanda Lewis might be a woman who's in love, mightn't she? She might think, I don't want him going to hell because I love him. She might do, mightn't she? Or somebody else might think like that. Or a newlywed couple who've waited might be thinking how special that person might be and what a lovely wedding night it might be. You know, that's the only thing. You see, if you save yourself, you can use your imagination, you can DIY. There's nothing in the Bible against masturbation. It's a horrible word, that, isn't it, masturbation? But there's nothing wrong with, you know, God doesn't forbid it in the Bible anywhere. This is a funny thing now. I'm going to show you something funny now. You can laugh at this. I'm not Mary Whitehouse. I don't like porn, but my name's Amanda Lewis. Now, this is funny. If God didn't want us to touch ourselves and give ourselves pleasure when we're excited, he would have put our hands coming out of our skulls so they couldn't reach down there. It's logical, isn't it? If our hands are there, they can actually be used to help us, because it's a struggle when you get excited about how special somebody is and you think, oh, he's just so special. And if you feel like that, if you've ever felt like that about anybody, if you've met Mr. Right or Miss, you think how special they are. You don't want to spoil them. You want to keep it special. You want to respect them. You don't want to hurt them or contaminate them with anything because they're special. Do you understand? And that's what love is. When you honour somebody and you respect them and you love them, you don't think of getting your end away with them. You don't think about lust, do you? You don't think about yourself. You think about them. You think about what will make them happy and be good for them. And it's not good to go to hell. I wouldn't want anybody going to hell. Would you say that to somebody? Go to hell. Would you say that? Would you say that? Would you say that to somebody you love? Go to hell. I'm sorry. Doesn't compute, does it? It does not compute. Anyway, that's life. It's a wonderful thing, and it needs to be cherished. Life is a wonderful thing, and if you meet God's gift, treasure them. Don't harm them. Don't be jealous of them. That's not love, is it? That's wanton lust. Jealousy and hatred are bed partners. It's true. It's true. The mafia liked their children. They liked family life, didn't they? Militantly, their family was very important. That's Italian blood, isn't it? Spaniards are very good with their children. Beautiful. They dress them. And it's not like a Pears soap advert where I've been in a cathedral where there was a picture of like a Pears soap. I think a sentimentality in the cathedral. Do me a favour. Jesus wasn't like that, was he? Wishy-washy, blowing bubbles. That's very Victorian. No, we need to learn to love one another, don't we? And let's just try and do away with all this. Put it on the back seat. Don't give this conflict too much airtime. It's making people anxious. It's making people depressed, and it's making people hate people. And if you want to give it attention, by all means, if you're just going to multiply the problem, let's think about love and move on. Take care.